In this video, we'll be drawing this spaceship. So to get our reference image, I'm in Google, green spaceship site : openclipart.org. I'm going to select medium here, and then I'm just going to download it. I'll save it in my documents. I start up Inkscape, and then I load in the document. I just do OK here to accept all the defaults. I want my spaceship going up, not to the side. So I click on the picture, and there's this little rotate thing that you can do here. So what I'll do is I will make a second version of Inkscape because I just want to copy this to use as a reference image. So I'll do a new, and it doesn't mean that the old one is gone. It's still there. So I'll go back to the old one, and I'll do a copy, and then I'll go to the new one, and I'll do a paste. I want to use it just as a reference image, so I will hold the shift down and press the arrows to put it to the left a bit. Let's start with the pen tool. We'll just click some points and make a kind of a square thing, which is the main body of the ship. Just click on green, and we'll also hold the shift down and click on the X to get rid of any stroke. Since we have the image right here, let's get the right color. So we can do that with the eyedropper tool. So click on this little eyedropper thing. If I just click on the color, it should take the currently selected object and change it into that color. So using the node tool, we'll click on the top line here and pull up. I'm going to move this over just a tiny bit. And then we'll grab the bottom line and pull down. We're now going to make the side things. So we'll have to go back to the pen tool. And I'm going to do something kind of like this. Of course, it's the wrong color. So we can go to our dropper tool and then just click on the color. If I go to the node tool now, maybe I can make these into what they're supposed to be. And then I'll grab this line right here and pull it out. Doesn't look too bad. So I'll grab the selector tool, and you go down up here and you lower it to the bottom. Something looks a little funny here. So I'll click on the node tool again and figure out why it looks funny. If I take this node, maybe I'll move it out a little bit. There's these things called handles that you can use to straighten things up a little sometimes. So that's not bad. We need another one for the other side. So the best thing to do is duplicate it and get the mirror image. In order to duplicate it, we have to go to the selector tool because you can't duplicate it with the node tool. Let's do edit and duplicate. It's now duplicated and it's also in the front, which is fine. So let's do the mirror image thing. Flip selected objects horizontally. Okay, now it might be a little confusing because you don't know what's going on. So I will click on the page and then click the top object. Holding the shift down, I'll move the arrows to the right. Now we want to move it to the bottom. So we take that piece, lower selection to the bottom. Probably fairly close. So I clicked on it, and I'll hold down the Alt key and press the left arrow a little bit, once or twice or something. Probably needs a little more, 2 more. That's close enough. See these sharp corners? Somebody's bound to hurt themselves on there. So if I take the node tool, first I'll select the object, then I'll take the node tool, and I'll zoom in by holding down the control button and scrolling the mouse wheel up. So if I double click on any line, it'll add a new node. So I'll double click here, and then I'll double click here. I want to take out this corner point. So then I'll select the corner point. It doesn't matter if you select the handle or not. It doesn't matter, just as long as you have the node. And then I'll hit the delete key or the backspace key. If I zoom in a little bit more with the control and the scroll mouse, I can maybe make these a little bit better. Okay, now do the same thing for the other side. Node tool, double click here to add a point, double click below it to add a point, and then get rid of the one in the middle. Delete. How does this one look? It's probably okay. We'll leave it like that. Now we want to do this part. So I will just use the pen tool and I will do something like this. Then I'll use the node tool and scroll in a bit and grab on this line and pull it down. Grab on this line and pull it down. Hard to grab sometimes. So I think I'll pull this one over a little bit and pull this one over a little bit. Okay, now I'll grab the selector tool and I'll move it over with the Alt and the left arrow. Now I will use the selector tool and push it to the bottom. With the selector, click and hold on the right arrow, and then I'll hold the shift. That means it will not only move in on the right, but it will move in on the left also. So that's probably good enough. While it's still selected, I can use the down arrow to move it down a little bit. That's probably close enough. Okay, let's make these wobbly circles here. And initially I thought, let's use the circle tool, but they're more wobbly than that, so let's create our own. We'll use the pen tool, and we'll add a point and do a diamond. And this is a great way of creating a circle. It's a little bit odd, but it's a great way of creating a circle. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make the white. So this is the fill. The fill is a light green right now, so I'll click on white. And then I want this border here. So I will do a shift and pick a random color, it doesn't matter. If I grab the dropper tool and do a shift of this, that might work. Yes, it does. I held the shift down and then I clicked on this color. I'll double click on this because it's a quick way of bringing up this. And this says 10 and it's probably, let's try 15. Then I'll go to the node tool. I'll make a circle out of this. And the reason I'm making a circle this way is because we need that wobbliness. And this is where the handles come in. So if I click on the node, the handles should show up. And then the handles aren't easy to work with sometimes, but you got to grab right in the center of the handle. So how does that look? This still looks a little sharp, so I'll click on this and make the handles kind of straight up and down for the right hand side, straight to the left and right for the top, straight up and down for the left hand side, straight on the bottom. So that's pretty good. We could duplicate it, but let's do it to make it look like it's drawn rather than copied. This is a little wide, so I'll grab this, I'll grab the selector tool and I will press down on this right arrow and hold the shift in too, so it goes in on the left and on the right. It's a little square, but that's okay, I guess. Let's see what happens if we were to use the circle instead. So let's grab the circle and make a circle here. And notice it doesn't look drawn at all. So what I'll do is, to try to make it a little more drawn, is to do path, object to path. And that means that I can now edit it. So you see the nodes are now here. So if I try to like wobblyify these a little bit, it's still going to look too perfect. See, because these are straight lines. So let's add a node here and a node here and a node here and a node here, and just play with them a little bit. Okay, let's take the selector tool and line this guy up with this guy. Actually, let's center this guy to start with. You select the top one by clicking on it. Then you hold the shift down and you click on the spaceship body. That means two of them will be selected. And the spaceship will be the second thing that's selected. So you go over and do align and distribute. And then this normally, when you select multiple things, it'll say selection area. We want last. And then you do center. Hey, it was already centered. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now we want to center the bottom one on the spaceship also. So I selected the bottom one with the select tool, I held the shift down, select the spaceship. Spaceship is the last thing selected. Then I'll click the center. Okay. We're going to not center this. Doesn't need it. So I want to draw the flame. So the way I'm going to draw it is I'm going to draw the orange part, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and that'll make the yellow part. So I'll grab the pen tool and I will do something like this. Not so high. It has a border right now, of course, because the last thing we drew had a border. So I will do a shift and an X to get rid of the border. Then I'll give it a color of orange. It's probably one of these. That's a little bright. We can use the dropper tool to get the exact color. So I'll click on the dropper, click on the color. Then we'll grab the node tool, grab on this line, grab on this line. I want to move this one down to be kind of the same as the original. And I'll grab this line too, just a little bit. And I'll grab this line and move it just a little bit. Not much, just a little. So that's pretty good. What I want to do is I want to make the yellow one, and the way I'll do that is I'll get the selector tool. I'll duplicate this, edit, duplicate. And then I'll make the top one yellow. You can't tell that there's a top one there. Hold down this arrow here, and then I also hold down the control and shift. And then I'll move this flame up higher somewhere. Probably higher than that. Okay. Then I will grab the selector tool, select both of these, and move it to the bottom. So I would say good enough. So I'll take the original, I'll click on it, and then I'll delete it. Then I'll do a file and a save. I'll change it to spaceship.svg and put it in my documents. I also then will do an export so I can get a printable image of it. We'll do an export. first thing you do is you click on Page, and then you click on this little file folder thing, and make sure you're in your documents. It gives me spaceship.png, which is fine, so I'll do save on that. Then if I look at my documents, I have the original downloaded image, of course, spaceship.png and spaceship.svg. So let's double click on the PNG, and there's our spaceship. If you enjoyed this video, please do a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. Bye.